All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for being I apologize for being a couple minutes late. Hold on. Hmm. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. Time slipped away from me. It's time to see what happens when Saitama faces off against Machine God Mirror. Let's get started. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. Welcome back to One Punch Man. In the last chapter, we had Butterfly DX and Chain Toad, along with Suika, trying to go up against, Machine God, and they were instantly trounced. Members of the poorly named Bad Hero Name League, the group, they all got one shot instantly. And then we have Saitama showing up after Machine God tries to showcase more of his power. And Saitama basically not only survives the blast he gets caught up in, but just lands completely unscathed aside from like scorch marks on his costume. And that's it. And now Machine God is looking at Saitama like, my info tells me that you're weak. Your name and your appearance tell me that you're weak. How disappointing. So let's see what happens in chapter 231. Ooh, is Saitama about to tell him just how strong he is? Ooh. Punch 231 contribution. And the cover art here for One Punch Man, it's not a double spread panel, but the cover art here just shows Saitama taking like a battle stance, and it's really well done. I like it. I like it a lot. So, let's see what happens. And then we have the executives who are apparently putting up a sign for Emergency Countermeasures Headquarters. We have all the executives along with Sitch looking at what's about to go down. Huh? It appears someone came to help. And McCoy is looking like, who is it? McCoy's about to witness the strength of Saitama! I've said this so many times. I've said this so many times. Wait, hold on. Let me double check. Is this thing on autofocus? No, it's not. Good. Also, Halster, good to see you, and I forgot to put chat up so you guys can be seen. My apologies, I forgot to turn that on. I literally have a button for it. But Sitch and everyone is looking at Saitama, and McCoy is all like, who is it? I can't quite tell. It doesn't matter. No attack will reach me, so I'll sit back and enjoy an ignominious? Yeah. So I'll sit back and enjoy an ignominious defeat. And here's the thing, McCoy's just chilling because he thinks, he thinks that Saitama is weak. Everyone thinks Saitama is weak. It doesn't matter. No attack will reach me, so I'll sit back and enjoy an ignominious defeat. And then we have Machine God looking at Saitama. Kiss this world goodbye. Class A, rank 39 hero. Okay, so me giving Saitama like a much higher rank in rank A was severely wrong. Class A, rank 39 hero. Bald cape! And then a Machine God lunges at Saitama. And then Saitama, in an instant, who are you calling Bald Cape? What did I say would happen when Saitama punched Machine God Mirror? He hits Machine God Mirror so hard, every part of his body flies apart. One hit. And everyone is just utterly confused. Suika, the poorly named poorly named Hero League, Sitch, and even McCoy. And then Machine God Mirror goes flying with concussive force, and I like how it's drawn. Even the slightly invisible shockwave of his punch goes across the water of the mode of the Heroes Association, and he impacts directly on the other side. And on McCoy's screen, it shows Machine God getting closer and closer and closer until the security cam watching all of this goes out, and Machine God Mirror goes flying into McCoy's personal bunker. What did we talk about? What did we talk about? We just talked about, like, if Saitama gets involved, McCoy has no plan for it. I knew Saitama was gonna mess up McCoy, but I didn't realize he was gonna use Machine God to actually mess him up. Machine God flies directly into McCoy's personal bunker. And Blue is there. Blue is there, and he's flying over witnessing that, and he sees Saitama going, huh? And he sees Saitama. And then Saitama punched Machine God so hard, Machine God literally tunneled directly into the earth itself, right into McCoy's personal room. And Machine God ain't moving at all. And right next to Machine God is McCoy, completely unconscious, missing teeth, blood over his face, and the execs are coming in running towards him. Mr. McCoy, are you all right? And then everyone is just looking at Saitama going like, what the? He wasted that robot. Bullcape is one of us, and he kicked that thing's butt. He's an exec in the Society of Hero Named Victims, so nothing scares him. And then everyone just gives high fives to Saitama, and Saitama's all like, yeah. Way to go! What a punch! On to the next town! And then it shows like Red Nose looking at Saitama, and he's going like, is it me, or is he a bit too tough? Then we get Chain Toad and Butterfly DX. And Chain Toad, without his helmet on, goes, hey, yeah, I saw that too. Forte was right. And then Blue was just there to witness everything. He just saw the strength of Saitama one-shot a monster. I need to see chat, just so I can see what you guys have been saying this whole time. Again, that's the man who whisked away my mask. I just saw something incredible. And Blue is just completely awestruck over the strength of Saitama. If you don't let me see my chat on my phone, if you don't stop, there we go. And Suika is just pulling her cheek. And then we get the execs going, a hero defeated that monster? Who was it? Was it King? We still haven't reached him. And then King apparently King was on VR, just gaming with his VR headset the entire time. VR is so amazing these days. That shaking felt real. Wow, so Machine God Mirror hitting the Heroes Association. The reverberations made King think that the vibration was coming from the game. Huh? And it shows that apparently the execs tried to call him 104 times. Missed calls, 104. Uh-oh. And then we get Spermatozoon, who I will correct the voice this time.
Because I used to give him like this small, spindly voice.
But he actually has a voice all the way down here. Is that baddie a goner? We did it, Pochi! For once, we successfully defended our home! And both Spermatozoon and Pochi are just cheering for themselves. Mind you, the home of Pochi is literally just a doghouse that lies within the Heroes Association itself. Then we get a subway train that got stopped, and we see all the other heroes walking by, like the heroes with the bad name hero victims. They're walking past the subway, and we get civilians on the inside going,
Hold up a second, heroes.
yes?
What are your names?
I'm super no. We're the Society of Hero Name Victims. so have no fear. And everyone's looking like, huh? Victims? That's weird. Anyway, thanks. Woo! Hooray for the victims! Hooray for the victims. And then, ooh, Dr. Beaufoy. Dr. Beaufoy was watching. And Dr. Beaufoy was watching, and he goes, interception system cannonade was effective. Requesting expansion. I didn't include cannons in those systems. The boost to my reputation is welcome, but I must know which hero counterattacked so effectively. Machine Gun Mirror came from Dr. Beaufoy. Interception system cannonade was effective. Requesting expansion. I didn't include cannons in those systems. The boost to my reputation is welcome, but I must know which hero counteracted so effectively. So is that what Machine Gun Mirror was using the whole time? Interception system cannonade? That's what it's called? Dr. Beaufoy created Machine Gun Mirror. If my assumption is correct, is he the one who created Machine Gun Mirror? But then it just shows the the sunset across the Heroes Association after Dr. Beaufoy, because we haven't seen Dr. Beaufoy in a minute. We have not seen him in a minute. But as it starts to set, we get Saitama walking up close to Spermatozoon and Pochi. What's up? I got a bit noisy. You alright? Yeah, that was nothing, Master. Arr! Good to hear. Look, I brought you proper dog food. Did you hear? Supposedly a third hero group appeared. Whoa, you must have been hungry. Well, eat your fill. And Saitama is literally pouring the entire bag of dog food into the bowl. I heard they utterly defeated a rampaging threat-level dragon monster in one blow, and they call themselves the Society of Hero Name Victims. Once again, Saitama has never been the type to seek out fame, fortune, or recognition, and other people are benefiting. Other people are benefiting from Saitama's strength. We had King, and now we got the Society of Hero Name Victims. Because now everyone's looking at them. No, he means counterattack from Pochi, but he doesn't know that is Pochi that counterattacked. HA thinks his system cannons. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kelvex. Thank you for the correction. Because I would have gone through this whole chapter thinking that Dr. Beaufoy was the one who created Machine Gun Mirror and he's actually working with McCoy. But thank you for the correction. So, no. It wasn't the cannons of the Heroes Association that stopped Machine Gun Mirror. It was Pochi. Okay, that makes good sense. Neeraj! What's going on? Good to catch your stream. It's me from yesterday. I'm not caught up. Well, One Punch Man will be lurking in the stream. Hope you have a nice stream. Thank you. Yeah, you have not caught up, so now's the good time for you to go, because I'm going to be talking about some spoiler-heavy stuff, because this was a very, very good chapter today. But that's the end of the chapter. Saitama comes home and he brings dog food with him to feed both Spermatozoon and Pochi. But the biggest thing that comes from this chapter is Machine God tries to attack Saitama. And Saitama doesn't even retaliate in accordance to him being attacked. He retaliates because he's being called Bald Cape. One of the most superficial reasons to hit someone with that much force, and he's taking out Machine Gun Mirror simply because he's being called Bald Cape. Not because he's attacking him, but because he's being called Bald Cape. So Machine God tries to lunge at him, and Saitama hits him square in the chest. Mind you, the thing that should be noted here is that we don't even see Saitama actually physically touch him. He literally hits Machine God Mirror so fast, you only see the indentation and impact on his chest. And then you see the rest of Machine God's body flying off into the distance, body, arms falling off, legs literally falling off, every part of him flying off. I said, wouldn't it be funny if Saitama hits Machine... I said this during a stream. I said this during one of the... I think it was the last stream or the stream before it. That if Saitama hit... Wouldn't it be funny if Machine God Mirror was punched by Saitama so hard that he literally came apart? Like, just every part of him came apart? I literally said this in the last... I think the last stream that I did. And he punches him so hard that all of his arms fly off. All of his arms, basically all of his limbs. The only thing that stays really pretty much intact is just his neck, head, and torso, and that's it. And then Saitama hits him with enough force to make him burrow through the foundation of the Heroes Association directly into McCoy's room and taking out McCoy and knocking him out completely. And then Blue is on his goblin glider, and he sees Saitama. And then we get Machine God Mirror laying in literal pieces in the room of McCoy. And remember how nice McCoy's room looked? It was nice, fancy, clean, white. Had statues and architecture. He had nice music, nice speakers. He was smoking. He was having a good drink. He had his feet all propped up. He was chilling. Then all of a sudden, big old mech comes flying in, knocks him out, and it knocks him straight through the doors that are meant to be sealed to keep him safe. You know, these vacuum-sealed, heavy-duty steel doors? He literally got knocked through them. The doors are literally bent from him getting knocked through the doors. And he's just lying there unconscious. Funny enough, his eye patch still stays on, but he's completely unconscious. And this is the most amount of harm we have ever seen come to McCoy, and it was indirectly caused by Saitama. This is the reason why I was laughing earlier. If Saitama gets involved, your plans literally mean nothing. Yeah, and then Suika, you see the Society of Hero Name Victims are witnessing like, that's crazy. He's one of us, but he just took out that one crazy monster. And then Chain Toad and Butterfly DX are all like, hey, yeah, I saw that too. Forte was right. Because all three of them fully realized just how strong Saitama is now. Forte knew. Butterfly DX and Chain Toad didn't believe him. Chain Toad didn't believe him. But now they witnessed just how powerful Saitama is. And this is dude just angry punching. Literally, no focus, no full intent to completely obliterate the surrounding landscape, because this man can take out entire mountain ranges with just a punch. And that just with the shockwave of a punch. Remember the fight against Genos? Wasn't really much of a fight, but a test of strength. And all he did was just punch in the direction of Genos and stop before, and just the shockwave from that punch burrowed a ginormous valley into the mountain range. This isn't even Saitama actually taking things seriously. He's just punching in frustration, and he one-shots him. I knew it was going to happen. But Red Nose is looking like, is it me or is he a bit too tough? Out of everyone in the Society of Hero Name Victims, Red Nose is the only one to think like, something ain't right here. Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Like, he's the only one who's all like, maybe he's a bit too tough. He's the only one out of this group that notices there's something going on with Saitama. And Blue is hiding around the corner, literally hiding in the section where Machine God basically bored an entire hole through some of the concrete walling that leads into the moat that's connected to the subway. He's hiding around the corner going, again, that's the man who whisked away my mask. I just saw something incredible. And he's just sitting there sweating. Mind you, He wasn't sweating when he was on his glider. But he's sweating now, having witnessed the strength of Saitama. Maybe he's realizing that, oh, this is the person that managed to take away my mask. I don't think I'm going to be able to make him tell me where he is. Because if he one-shot that monster, I don't know if I can make him do anything. And Suika, like Kelvik said, is literally pinching herself in disbelief. And then all the other execs are all like, a hero defeated that monster? Who was it? Was it King? We still haven't reached him. Finding out that King has been upstairs chilling, playing VR this whole time, and they've tried to call this man 104 times. He must have been playing Half-Life Alyx. He must have been. Or he was playing, the VR version of Fallout 4 or maybe even Skyrim. Maybe he was even playing like a new version of Superhot. I don't know, but he was so into it that he couldn't even he couldn't even notice that his phone was ringing. And both Spermatozoon and Pochi are both tired because they definitely helped this Heroes Association survive. But now they was all like, we did it, Pochi! For once, we successfully defended our home! And while the Society of... you know what? I'm just going to call them Hero Name Victims. Because saying the Society of Hero Name Victims is long. It's kind of long. So I'm just going to say the Hero Name Victims are walking past the subway, and all the civilians are inside is all like, wait, did you save us? Or asking for their names. And the head dude goes like, I'm super, we're the Society of Hero Name Victims, so have no fear. And everyone's all like, huh? Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, thanks! Hooray for the victims! Which is something you really don't hear people scream at the top of their lungs. Hooray for the victims! Not gonna lie, was not expecting the victims to get credit. It actually doesn't surprise me. I thought the twist was Blue was going to get caught either spying or just nearby and he gets credit. So this twist of them getting the credit instead is a good one. Good thing Saitama handled. If King came, Robot would destroy himself. Hero Name Victims is the strongest association. The strongest association after the Monsters Association of that arc. That's the craziest thing. But everyone's cheering for the victims, and Dr. Beaufoy's all like, huh? Interception system cannonade was effective. Requesting expansion. I didn't include cannons in those systems. And he's wondering like, wait, cannon? I didn't make no cannon for our defense system for this place. Why are you asking for an expansion? It's nice that you guys are congratulating me and my reputation is being boosted, but I gotta find out which hero counteracted so effectively. So even now, Beaufoy is wondering, okay, I didn't create any systems to basically one-shot this thing in one go. So I need to find out who's the hero who did it. And that is probably going to lead Dr. Beaufoy down a long string of research if he comes to learn that Saitama was the one who did it and only did it with one punch. Oh, it's going to be House of Evolution all over again. How did you get this strong? It's either going to be, how did you get this strong? I must know more. Or, you know what? I don't feel like researching or being a scientist anymore, because if that's the pinnacle, I'm never going to reach it. And then Saitama gets home. He feeds both Spermatozoon and Pochi some food. And everyone is talking about the name of the Society of Hero Name Victims. Because Saitama ain't, because like I said, Saitama ain't in it for the recognition. He's annoyed that his name is called Baldcade. But he ain't in it for the recognition. This man was literally heading home with groceries. And that's how we end this chapter. And I believe this may be the last chapter we get. Yeah, this is the last chapter we get in June. Yeah, this is the last. What a wonderful chapter to end June on when you think about it. We see the end of Machine God Mirror. Saitama once again displaying his own. And here's the thing that I really like. Here's the thing that I really like about One Punch Man. oftentimes you'll have a person or individual who's so OP that they are literally untouchable, and it can easily fall into the trope of this person so overpowered. How are we supposed to resonate with this character, or how do we create threats that are threatening to this character if he is the strongest whatsoever? Like, he is just the strongest, period. Strongest being. Forget creatures, forget anything else. He's just the strongest being. Yet, consistently, the story continues to make the life of Saitama, who is the most overpowered character in the entire series, to the point of absolute absurdity. Literally, you could have the narrator from Baki describe everything that Saitama does, and it would fit into the world of Baki in levels of ridiculousness of how things are described. This man was capable of felling all monsters in one single blow. More powerful than America's most powerful cannon. Like, the way the dub of Baki describes the ridiculous things that every character does, from Yuji to Hanma to Musashi Miyamoto, like, them jokers is crazy. It could fit in the world of Saitama just fine, yet it doesn't come off as like this story has nowhere to go with a character who's this strong. It doesn't get tiresome. That's what I really wanted to say. Sorry for the overly long analogy. But the story of One Punch Man does not get old, regardless of how strong we see people, regardless of whatever Saitama does, simply because the story is very interesting, and this is how you make an overpowered character not boring. That's my overall opinion. This is how you make a character not boring, and he's so overpowered that no one can literally beat him at all. When I got into this story for this first time, I was thinking, how much can you tell the story of with a character who's overpowered and can defeat everyone with one singular punch? How do you make that story interesting? And years later, it still continues to be interesting. So this is some really good storytelling when you can make someone who's overpowered beyond belief and still consistently make chapters that are genuinely good and interesting, and you actually want to see more of it. But this was a good chapter. A very, very good chapter. And the end result was not surprising whatsoever. If I was a part of the hero named Victims and I heard hooray for the victims, I don't know whether I should feel endeared, uncomfortable, or insulted. I mean, when you think about it, them all having bad hero names, and now the name they created for themselves, the Society of Hero Named Victims, people will just shorten it up to the Victims. So they're going to fall prey to yet another instance where they are poorly named. They literally did it to themselves. For as much as they have loudly proclaimed, we want our names to be changed, they literally just set themselves up for failure for their entire group. Because now they're just going to be known as the Victims. We're the Society of Hero Named Victims. Hey, it's the Victims. We're not victims, we're heroes.
Hey, Mommy, I see the victims.
See, you done set yourself up for failure just by calling yourself that. Yeah, also using other characters more, so overpowered characters don't interfere with other battles until when it's needed. That's another good point as well. One good thing that makes it so that a story that involves a character who is overpowered doesn't just one-shot everything and solve every single problem is that the story of One Punch Man doesn't just solely focus on Saitama. It focuses on everyone else. We literally had an entire string where we didn't even focus on the Heroes Association and just focused on Neo Heroes. We focused on Terrible Tornado. We focused on King. We literally have a set of chapters where King is trying to find out ways to make himself stronger, and because of his reputation, everyone's all like, you're too strong, we can't teach you. Having entire chapters dedicated to King actually seeking genuine strength, because he's literally, if we want to be quite honest, he is the weakest S rank, if not one of the weakest heroes in the entire Heroes Association. It's literally been his entire reputation that has kept him where he is right now. But what I love about One Punch Man is that they can take moments with these different characters, and we can sympathize with these characters, we can empathize with them, We can resonate with them. We can literally enjoy their stories, from Suryu getting out of the hospital to finding out about Suika, and then seeing more about Flashy Flash, and then Speed of Sound Sonic, and before the whole redraw and everything, learning more about Blast and his life and stuff like that. I love how much more fleshed out the world of One Punch Man is, simply because it doesn't focus on the one person who can literally solve every problem with one punch and walk away from it 100% of the time. I love what One Punch represents in terms of, we can have an overpowered character and he never gets boring because we don't solely focus on him. It's like the concept of too much of a good thing can become sour. It's like eating too much of phenomenally cooked food to the point where it loses its luster and exquisite taste because you've had it so often. So now the mindset of like, oh, this is really good, goes into like, well, I've had this enough. So the spark is no longer there. This is the story of One Punch Man. Saitama is that exquisitely created meal. However, we get him enough where we can always savor it and it never loses flavor. And we have other dishes we can partake in. So when we go back to Saitama, it's all like, just as good as I remember. It's not like, well, it's not as good as I remember because I had it so much. That's literally what One Punch Man is, in terms of the food analogy, mind you. But now, with Machine God Mirror taken care of, I wonder how McCoy is going to react. Because he looked at Saitama and says like, well, he's not going to do anything. I'm just going to be waiting for ignominious defeat, with his fancy words. What you using ignominious for? But now that Saitama's basically beaten Machine God Mirror, Machine God failed to go after King, and this monster was completely blown back. I wonder what McCoy's going to do now, because he literally had no problem leaving everyone to their devices to literally die, even when some civilians were being involved. It remains to be seen how McCoy is going to respond from this. I bet you anything, the next time we see McCoy and he's speaking to those from Neo Heroes, this Joker gonna have bandages and band-aids all over his face because of how badly he got messed up. He literally got shoved forcefully through solid steel doors, head first. He is not going to be okay when he gets back to Neo Heroes. So it'll be interesting to see where McCoy goes from here. Now that the Heroes Associate, because here's the thing, he planned to have Neo Heroes, and we talked about this before. I want to say 5 chapters ago. We talked about McCoy's plan of having Neo Heroes come in, swoop in, and save the Heroes Association. Let's just call for Neo Heroes and request cooperation. But that would only lead to Neo Heroes gaining even more. I can't even speak today. Sorry. This was a good chapter. It would only lead to Neo Heroes gaining more publicity in favor of themselves over the Heroes Association. Because the talk of the town would be, wow, the Heroes Association needed Neo Heroes to save them, thus improving the public standing of Neo Heroes. That plan has been rendered moot because no one from Neo Heroes, save for Blue, who's just secretly hiding out, is here to capitalize on bringing down Machine God Mirror, and it was actually a hero from the Heroes Association who casually took out a rank-ass monster. Bit my tongue! Ah! So the plan of having Neo Heroes take in all that publicity, and, reap the rewards of, what is the right word? For assisting, like, taking all of that, that's pretty much rendered moot. Unless Blue sticks around, and then cameras come around and say like, Blue, did you come in to save the Heroes Association? And Blue would be all like, no, I was actually making my way over here. And if Blue isn't gone by the time we get the next chapter and he's off on his own and not being questioned or anything like that, then the people who would be able to fully benefit from this entire ordeal is the Heroes Association. And thus improving public standing for them, because then people will say like, hey, we had this gigantically titanic, insanely powerful monster come by, but the Heroes Association protected us. That would make the Heroes Association look better. So now the question is, how does McCoy move from here? Because like I said, we still don't know the goal of McCoy and how he's going to move. All we know is that he seems way too casual about all these rank S monsters attacking everywhere, and then literally going inside of his own personal bunker to chill and watch the downfall of the Heroes Association from the outside, regardless of how many people get endangered in the process. We still don't know his end goal here or why he's doing everything that he's doing. Either out of greed or malicious intent, we still don't know. There's profit to be made in this, we do know that, but we don't know why McCoy is doing this. But like I said, when Saitama gets involved, your plans literally mean nothing. So let's see how McCoy goes on from here. And with this being the last chapter of One Punch Man in June, I am looking forward to the next chapter we get in July. Will we see more of Dr. Beaufoy? What's going to happen with Saitama? With the execs zoning in on him, are they going to put two and two together and maybe question Saitama? But then again, they couldn't really make out that it was Saitama because of all the smoke. Also depends if people see heroes named victims as part of HA or not, since even though they defeated the monsters, in most of the cities, they caused a lot more damage to defeat them. True. That is also true. Now, let me go ahead and correct myself as saying, like, while this sounds good on paper, we still don't know about public opinion aside from, like, news reporters about the destruction that has happened with specifically Terrible Tornado basically turning an entire city into sand. And we also need to deal with the fact that Flashy Flash and Tank Top Master are dealing with that smoke monster that I don't think is fully dead yet. Because the smoke is still permeating throughout the city that they're in. So there's still some things that we kind of need to resolve if we're going to cut back to these characters again. Specifically Tank Top Master and Flashy Flash. So it remains to be seen how the public opinion will respond to everything that's happened with Heroes Association, especially the civilians who are living at the Heroes Association at this time. With the people in the subway, they already feel, indebted to the victims, so maybe that'll sway things, but that's just my assumption. That really doesn't hold too much weight to it. Overall, good chapter, and I can't wait to see what One Punch Man brings us in the month of July. But that's all I got. Kelvex, Holster, everyone else who's watching and just happens to just simply be watching, don't worry, you don't have to say a single word. All I can say to you is, I enjoy reading One Punch Man for all of you guys, and I am looking forward to the next one. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and only if what I did here today was worthy of that. Check out my membership or Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!